What's up, YouTube? It's Alexandro. We finally did it. We finally did it after like 7 not first place finishes. We finally got first, winning the event. Now that I believe the format's over. There won't be any more events until Breeding Star comes out. I do want to give my full knowledge on the deck and my full pointers for whoever is playing online events or any other events that you having at your event. But I'm pretty sure my area is just out of events till next format here. Let's see. If you want to do better at events like this, you want to take advantage of all the resources available to you. Like asking the judge. If you have a question about anything, ask the judge. Hey, judge, is that okay? Is that legal? Can he do this? Some people are gonna say that you're sharking, but those are the kind of people who won't win the event. Hell, they might not even be in top cut. So don't listen to those people. Ask the judge, hey judge, is that legal? Every time something comes up that looks a little suspicious, just talk to your judge in general. If a player's being, he's being a little sus, ask your judge, hey, tell your judge, that player's a little sus. This happened to me, my player tried to do this. That way the judge will be aware of that player and, it might be able to do something like give him a warning, a game loss or draw or pass penalty depending on the actions that the player is doing. It's just overall better for the event instead of going home and whining about it on your Facebook page. So yeah, another resource doesn't come up very often, but it happened like a couple months ago. The event was open deck list, and the judge said, you can look here all the deck lists, you can look through them, you can make some notes. Just don't check them on your phone during the match, but before and after, completely fine. Again, if you have that, ask for a pen, ask for a pencil, write down the important stuff, the number of switches, the number of gusts, the number of basic energy. Those are all very important. That way you can keep track of what your opponent has as potential outs, and you can make a better decision if it's like a win condition for you to gust a Genesect out and just leave them trapped on the active. All right. So here's the ratios. I played the 1 Oricorio. Incredibly busted. It doesn't help it too much against the dark matchups because of the weakness hitting too hard. But it came up like, let's see, round 1. It came up, I was playing against Shadow Rider. My opponent accelerated enough energies. He had 10 energies on board, which I knew that's the maximum he could do, which would be 310 on the dot to kill the Mew VMAX. But thanks to Oricorio, he only hit it for 29. Round 3, my opponent also missed the KO by 10 damage, but it wasn't because of the Oricorio. They just did the math wrong. Let's see, I know it came up in my top 4 match against the Jolteon matchup, because he's hitting for 100 with a max rumble, but thanks to the Oricorio, he's only hitting for 80, and that doesn't 3-shot. That doesn't 3-shot the Mew, especially if you can protect the Mew from ping damage with attaching the fusion energy, which people don't forget. Oh, before I forget, if you put when you elicit Sparkles the first time around, if you put an energy on the Oricorio, he can't get pinged either, so therefore he can't take the knockout with Jolteon on this, since it won't hit in the bench, and even if he gusts that turn to hit him from the active, thanks to the Oricorio, he survives by 10 damage, and then he can't ping on following turns because of the energy for the knockout. So yes, against the Jolteon matchup, Oricorio comes in super clutch, and make sure you put the energy under him. The next, we played the standard 4 Genesect. And then we played a small lineup of Mews. I found myself I played this deck in 2 previous events, maybe 3, and I found myself like having too many Mews, just in my hand. So I wanted to cut down just because, I feel like the Mew wasn't as important. Just having too many of them extras lying around, and then it's kind of hard to get rid of them. But I did play the spicy tech of 3 Meloetas. So I was playing 2. But I found myself needing a 3rd one, or sometimes even the 2nd one, because the first one will get priced. Or in the Mew mirror, you always want to feed a Meloetta on your when you go first. You want to leave a Meloetta in the active, and you want to leave yourself the option of having a 1 pricer in the bench, so that they can if they gust with an escape rope, then you can still give them the other 1 pricer, either the Oricorio or the Meloetta, since they don't come in that clutch, and you want to have access to the 2. you know, so you can keep copying the Melodious Echo. And I just didn't want, I didn't want to play 2 and have one be priced and then just be like, well, guess I lose the game just because the other one is priced. So I wanted to play 3. It also helps out in finding the Meloetta faster. To get to, you know, guarantee yourself that turn 1 donk. It's just a better odds of starting this when you go second, which I ended up going second like most, if not all, of my matches today. So it came in really clutch just having a 3rd one just to always open it. And then next up we have our search. Played 4 quick ball, 4 crystal fog, 4 battle BIP pass, and 3 great ball. So I think in my last video I didn't play the great ball at all, and I played 1 evil instance. However, I found myself also at the last event, I realized that I found myself scrambling to set up on that turn 1. And unfortunately, although Evil Instance, it's a burnable card and it gets you the Mew, it doesn't help you set up that turn 1. It's just it just like empties out your hand. But if you use the Fusion Strike system and you draw into it, it's still not progressing your board. Whereas Great Ball can progress your board and it helps you get the Genesix out a little bit more reliable. Something I learned at the event, I think it was like round 4. My opponent passed with like 2 Flaffy and a Bolton, no Rayquazas or anything. And on my turn, I popped off so hard with the Great Ball and like 2 Battle BIP pass that I couldn't, like, I had a 3rd Battle BIP pass in my hand that that we asked the judge, hey, judge, can I play this for no effect just because my bench is full? Turns out if your bench is full, then you can't play this one. But it didn't matter because my opponent was so far behind, and I had, like I said, I had a full bench that I was just going to run him with, and he had no Rayquaza. So on my next turn, after I hit with a Meloetta onto his Bolton, then he started benching the Rayquazas one at a time, and I was just able to pick them off because I have with my Gust. Oh, and to complement the search, I played 4 Cram to empty out your hand from those from the BIP battle passes after they expired, and I only played 2 Rotom phones this event. I used to play 3, I think, at the last deck list, and then 4 prior to that. And the reason I cut down to 2 is because, again, the same reason with the Evil Instance. In the early game, this doesn't help you set up your board. It just helps you make sure so that the next top deck is good. But if you're already struggling, if you don't have enough Genesix on board, then you can't be, and your hand is too clouded, then you can't, you know, you won't be able to draw after you play the Rotom phone because your hand will still be too big and your bench is too small. So, you know, I'm not too sure why I decided to cut because I make cuts all over the place. But yes, 2 Rotom phone, pretty good because then you can still see it every now and then, but just don't see it too much in the early game, hopefully. And then let's see, for some of the neat stuff, this event I decided to play 2 Escape Rope double switch. I found myself, well, I still think you need the mandatory 3 switch because then your Genesix can get stuck in the active. But having the 4th Escape Rope comes in really clutch. One, it gives you another switch against like Leafeon or anything that wants to gust too hard to leave you trapped in the active. But sometimes you don't want to hit the active. Sometimes you just don't want to hit the active, but you have to elicit you have to elicit Sparkle that same turn, and therefore you can't use Boss's orders to gust the active. So Escape Rope, great addition, just let you hit into something else. It also helps against a Weezing matchup because it gets a Weezing out of the active, and then so you can activate your System Strike systems. So for supporters, can't believe I'm supporters. I play 4 Alyssa. I've been saying, yes, this came in clutch so hard. There were multiple games where I played three Alyssa Sparkles, but and I would end up discarding the first one, one of them in the early game, but having 3 available to me was always coming clutch. One, because you can see it more often for the turn 1 donk with the Meloetta combo, but also in this meta, a lot of people don't like to play against Mew, so they play a lot of Fan Waves or Crushing Hammers. And there were many situations where my opponent would double Fan Waves, and I'm like, all right, cool, let me just play another Alyssa Sparkles. And also in simplified game states, there will be some games where your opponent just passes the peaks you right from the start, but that doesn't matter as long as you have the Mew VMAX and then the Alyssa Sparkles. It doesn't matter that you can't draw with Fusion Strike systems. You could just keep attacking whatever's in the active, or you could just keep attacking whatever's in the active. You straight up just don't need Fusion Strike systems at that point. Fusion Strike system is to get you to draw to the Alyssas, but once you have the Alyssas, you have so many copies, like you're good to go. And I only played the 2 Boss's orders. The reason behind that is because I wanted to have as many cards that were burnable or usable on the same turn. And just having 3 bosses orders or more, it just means that if you draw multiples, then you can't play more than one. Especially if you combo with the Ulysses, then your hand is just stuck with multiple cards that you can't even play. So instead of playing more bosses orders, I decided to opt for a slightly cheesier strategy, which is 2 Pokemon catchers, just so I could play Pokemon. I try to Gus on the same turn that I played Ulysses. It's also, sometimes it doesn't matter that you're hitting, as long as you're hitting the amount of price Pokemon you need. So sometimes you need to hit a 1 pricer, sometimes you need to hit a 2, and that's whatever's in the active. So if you have a Pokemon catcher and thin down your hand, you could just play it, and if you hit it, and if you hit the heads, just gust out the same number of prize Pokemon. But it came in clutch so many times because I needed to hit a different Pokemon because they were trying to give me 1 pricer when I was trying to do like chain 2 pricers to win the game in 3 turns. Pokemon catcher came in super clutch. And then for questionable decisions, this time I decided to play 3 Stadium. Last time I was only playing 2 Training Court, and then no 3rd Stadium. I decided to play a 3rd Stadium just because I felt that Path to the Peak was hurting. It was hurting a little bit. Like I don't mind being Path to the Peak like 2 to 3 turns, but it's until that 4th turn that comes around that you're like, I'm starting to run out of resources and I need more cards in hand. So I decided to play a Rose Tower one because it's a different name. I don't want to be playing 3 Training Court, even though it's a better one, just because I want to be able to play it. And because it helps out in the early game with the consistency issues. There are so many times where I find myself just running out of gas because my turn 1 was really bad, and when it was flooded with burnables that didn't progress my game state, like Pokemon catchers or Rodon phones or switch and escape roads. So and then once you burn down your hand, you don't have enough because you had a lot of burnables, so you don't have enough Pokemon on your bench to Genesect for like a good amount. So the Rose Tower comes in clutch, letting you drop back up to 3 cards. And let's see, I played the 1 Tool Jammer. I didn't want to reveal it last video, just because I feel like it catches a lot of people off guard. This lets you hit through the Cape of Toughness on a Suicune for 210 with Technoblast, or the 3 Echo and Melodious Echo with the Meloetta attack. Lets you ignore the Big Charm on Duraglodon. And also the biggest factor, which I didn't get to use it because I didn't see it, and then the one time I did see it, I didn't want to play it because it was against Jolteon, and I still make sure that they don't have to use elemental badges. But game 1, when I did play him, game 1, I noticed that he was playing the Tool Scrapper, and that's the game I didn't see the Tool Jammer. I was like, oh, he's playing Tool Scrapper. So I didn't want to commit the Tool Jammer until I saw him discard the Tool Scrapper, or in the late game where it would be a little harder to find since he would have already used his Shady Dealings to search for it. I ended up not seeing that whole match when I won. I just ended up seeing that. The one time I did see it, he hadn't used the Tool Jammer, Tool Scrapper, so I was like, I can't commit to it. And then he martyred me, and it was like, well, that's gone. And then I called it last video. I said that playing 4 tablets wasn't correct, mostly because it's the same theory as the Pokemon catcher. People are just being blinded by the fact that it's a burnable card and it gives 30 more damage. But like, if you have a full hand and you play it on your hand for your power tablets, and then you draw again and you draw more power tablets, it didn't help you at all. Your game state didn't progress. You just used up 1 more Genesect draw. You have 1 less out. And then when you do miss, then you just wasted all those power tablets. So I decided to cut down to 2. I wanted to play 1, but I was like, that's too risky. It's gonna be harder to find, and it might be priced. But the reason why I think 1 or 2 is good is because sometimes you want to go from that 2800 to that 3 from that 280 from the 4 Melodious Echo Energy attack, and then you just want to get that little extra boost to go to 310 to then knock out a Mew Mirror, a Leafeon, a Jolteon in that matchup. I find that's the only time this fixes numbers. The only other time would be if you hit a 4 energy Melodious Echo and you have 2 power tablet to hit the 340 against the Eternatus matchup. But against that matchup, that just seems a little, you're asking for too much if you're able to set up that many energies and have the 2 power tablets without risking a return KO, since you only need 2 energy. And it does having 4 or 3 with a choice band does fix the match for a Mew VMAX to do a Technoblast and another Mew VMAX for a knockout. But unless unless you're playing the peony build, I think you're just asking for too much again. I feel like if you have the peony build, you just play one, and then you can peony for the other two pieces that you're missing. Then that one's more reliable. But I don't like the peony build because it conflicts back with what I said earlier about the supporter lines. You just want to have as many cards as you can play on the same turn without having to clog up your hand. And then lastly, I list the energy count. I played 4 Fusion Strike energy and 3 Psychic energy. Well, obviously, like, this is the max number you can play, so that's how I play that. But I decided to play the 3 basic energy. 1, because you do have a lot of search for it with the fog crystals. It also helps against the Radulon matchup because you just have a lot more access to more basic energy, so you can use Technoblast on your opponent. They'll play Crushing Hammer, so if you one is prized, and then it's the other one you can keep recovering it with the training court. But if you only play 2 and then 1 is prized, then you're just not gonna get anywhere because you're gonna have to keep attacking with a basic and a fusion energy, and you keep using Max Miracle. So it's just better to have. I'd rather have the 3 and then against that matchup. Obviously, once if you know there's no one gonna be showing up with that deck, then maybe just playing the 2 would be fine. See, any more thoughts I want to give out? There was something about the energy. Oh, yeah, something I learned at the event, which was proper because I saw it once time in a video. There are situations, because you only play 2 supporters, right? There are situations where you are fully set up, but you're fully set up and you have these cards in hand that you're just not going to use, but it's still a wise idea to burn them. Yeah, I was thinking, I saw it once and it's like you Alyssa's for no energy, either because it's priced or you got used. And I was like, oh, okay, great. That seems like a great play. Yeah, if you're not gonna play a supporter that turn, and you don't need the Alyssa's anymore because you're already fully set up, then just play the Alyssa's on a turn where you don't want to boss down the thing on your hand. I found out that the judge said that if you have all 4 fusion energy on the board, you actually cannot legally Alyssa's, since there are no legal targets on the board. So just watch out for that. I guess if one is still in the deck or one is still priced, then you can still Alyssa's for no energy. But yeah, so yeah, you can Alyssa's for no energy, or if you have the chance, you can Alyssa's for no energy if one of them is priced or one is still in the deck, just to thin the Alyssa's out of your hand. I think that's it. Oh no, one more thing. I decided to play the 3rd Meloetta for the to prepare against the baby Moltres matchup. So what you want to do in that matchup, in case you didn't know, because it took me a while to figure it out, you want to start off with Mew VMAX and use either Max Miracle or Technoblast just to do the first 2 knockouts, because the Moltres cannot return the KO. The Oko, because it scales off the number of prizes you've taken. So you take 2 prizes with that, and on the 3rd prize, then you want to use Psychic Leap to take a knockout. Shuffling this back in the deck. And if you have the switch option or the escape rope in hand, then you want to promote the Genesect, because at 3 prize cards, the Moltres is only hitting for 117, which is not enough to knock down the Genesect. It is enough to kill the Meloetta, but not the Genesect. So after that, then you Alyssa Sparkles into the Meloetta. You ought to have 2 on the bench. You split the energy. And then you just manual some basic energy, and the Meloetta should be hitting for 14 once you switch. On the next turn, if they do knock it out, then you just promote the next Meloetta, you bench another one, and then you Alyssa Sparkles. This one has, now you Alyssa Sparkles to this one, to the one in the bench, leave the one in the active with 1, you manual. And now this one's hitting for 21 or 4, and you can start taking the knockout. And when this one does get knocked out, then you promote the last one, and now this one's still hitting for 14, and that should be just 3. If he returned the knockouts that returned, then that's still the 6 prizes, because he took 3 with the Mew at the beginning of the match. And there's no way he can catch up, because he won't be able to knock down the Genesect until the 4th prize is taken. So that's how you play that matchup. All right. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the codes with me, but I'll drop one codes in the comment section. Until next time.